what were we so busy doing? And are we in a rush to get back to that? I'm more curious internally, kind of with what's going on. I think I've surprised myself. There was a fair amount of fear, right? And particularly with a body, and just something so mortal that we often like somehow separate from, as if we're not the body or we're not. And I think what's curious to me is I know I'm not my body, and yet I had kind of created this like distance between it that allowed for me not to pay attention to what was going on inside. And I think that that's something from COVID that I'll take, is just the willingness to check in with myself. I think I've been very good at doing that for others. And because we were actually overseas when it kind of hit, it kind of just forced new conversations about, wait a minute, how comfortable am I? And how scared am I? And what do we need to do? And so the takeaway was boundaries. Like, I think that it's really neat to look at these invisible, funny things that we all have kind of our own struggles with boundaries, because it's global. It's like your borders, and who are you going to be spending time with, and what am I actually okay with in my body? I think it's really, I found some curiosity and amusement and potentially even a little bit of grace with the notion of boundaries. I do see a lot of gratitude, and I see a lot of longing for connection. I love that people stop and take the time to say hello to each other on the street, because we're literally craving that. Like, I was going for a jog the other day and saw a lady who I used to see at the gym working in her garden, and she just called out and they stopped, right? And it was going to be the best darn 10K that I would have ever done. But it wasn't about that. It was about stopping and pausing. And I really like that. I like that it's just questioning everything that's important. I think if we can kind of consciously look forward instead of thinking that we just need to pull at the familiar and bring it back with some crazy sense of consumption and familiarity, that's not really, it doesn't even feel like a fit. What I love about the whole thought, the question that you ask about a silver lining, there's a part of me that really wants to resist that notion. Not because I don't believe that it's there. I certainly do, and I've felt it in my own life. I guess my fear is that we often want to bypass the cloud. Like, the cloud's there, and the lining, that I love, that's valid. There is a silver lining to it. There's a rainbow in the rain. But it doesn't mean that we just override. Yeah, there's been some hard times for people. Really hard times. But for a lot of people that I've talked to that are older, that have seen way more of the world and times changing and political unrest and everything, like it's astounding to me what people have been through. And then this happening on such a global scale, it's weird. It's weird to kind of wrap your head around. I know that still matters, even with the risk, is touch, like a hug, just sort of connection. I really miss that. I feel like I'm confessing because I hugged somebody, a complete stranger, the other day. Because you could see it, like it just needed it. And I did one of these and she just fell into me. And I, like, just to be able to connect was unbelievable. I've always been a hugger. I think I was probably a bit more, loose and fast with my hugs than I needed to be. And there's just something intentional about touch now, and then also realizing the value in the moment. We don't get another day. There's been days where I feel really down. But I'm surprising myself right now, I think. Yeah. I do want to take that level of self-reflection forward and the intentionality behind who you want to be around and with. My old soccer coach, I don't even know if he still knows that I follow his posts online with some reverence. I really like the way that he writes, and he said something along the lines of those who you are choosing to be with is another way of putting those who you're willing to die to be beside, kind of thing. And that really changes things too, hey? Yeah, when you got family that just had a little baby, you get really careful about who you want to see and not, because these are your people and they're who you want to be around. And I didn't know my grandma was such a rebel. She stole a hug the other day. God, we have this hugging thing in our family, and she's, shh, don't tell anyone. And okay. Yeah.